5G, a new incredibly fast communication standard, or global evil? After reading your comments under the video about the future of communication, we started having our doubts and decided to dive into the topic. Can 5G negatively affect people, the environment, and the planet? Does 5G cause disease? Is 5G a global conspiracy? How to tell truth from myth in this? Let's try to figure it out. Rejecting rumors and speculation, relying only on scientific facts, and fortune-telling using a crystal ball, rabbit paws, and human teeth. Let's go! Our blue planet is covered with millions of invisible threads, allowing us to not pick up the phone and ignore our exes from anywhere in the world. We have come a long way from messages in bottles, pigeon mail, and
Hello!
plain screaming to complex communication networks. Today, 5G is launched around the world, the 5th generation of mobile communications, which promises to bring connection speed and reliability to a whole new level. So what is 5G? $5,000? The name of a rapper with brain damage? Dangerous radiation that will melt the brains of all mankind faster than a Got Talent show. Before we open the Pandora's box, let's quickly get acquainted with the facts. 5th generation communication is a type of mobile communication and a set of basic technical rules that describe network operation principles of mobile communications based on existing 4G and LTE network standards. 5th generation networks are powered by a new technology called mmWave. 5G promises faster connections with reduced latency and higher data rates. You can find out more in our video in the pop-up above. Let's have a look at the most common accusations towards 5G. By the way, write in the comments what you think about these charges. At the same time, you can subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. Easy for you, good for us. Win-win! Remember the panic around cancer-causing mobile phones? As with any new technology, there always are concerns about side effects on our health. And we're all tentacles on deck for healthcare. But erroneous statements can lead to even more unnecessary and unjustified panic. The key to inaccurate scientific claims was a 20-year-old graph by Dr. Bill Curry. His goal was to show that the human brain absorbs more microwave radio signals as frequencies increase, spiking in the spectra used by the 2G and 3G standards, and jumping even higher on 4G and 5G. Curry suggested that radio waves cause brain cancer, and this sensational statement was considered authoritative for some time, becoming the primary source of information for anyone concerned about health risks. Since then, scientists have debunked this myth. First off, Dr. Curry only examined open tissues in a laboratory, not cells deep within our bodies. Secondly, he did not take into account the screening effect, the ability of our skin to block high radio frequencies and protect our internal organs. And most importantly, scientists have not noticed any growth in cancer rates since wireless networks became ubiquitous. So you can remove the tinfoil hat. It will only protect your hair from the rain. Your brains are going to be fine. No microwaves can touch them. One of the 5G frequency spectra used is ranging from 24.25 to 24.45 gigahertz. Telecommunication companies paid about $2 billion for the rights to use this spectrum in the United States. However, meteorologists are concerned that transmissions near the lower limit of this range may interfere with accurate measurement of water vapor in the atmosphere. Neil Jacobs of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, says 5G interference can significantly reduce the amount of data collected by meteorological satellites. As a result, forecast accuracy can drop by as much as 30%. Meteorological satellites track hundreds of square kilometers at a time, and even the slightest interference can ruin the whole picture. In addition, clutter in coastal cities such as New York and Miami can make it difficult to observe the ocean, which is crucial for hurricane prediction. On the other side of the barrier, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission (FCC) chairman Ajit Pai claimed that NASA and NOAA, who asked to postpone the auction to sell these frequencies, are making exaggerated and unverified allegations. Is there any solution to the problem? 5G interference at these wavelengths will occur randomly and will be quite difficult to filter out. One way could be to use artificial intelligence, which will separate the noise from the useful data. So far, research has not been completed, and it's impossible to say for sure. Brainframe spies are actively monitoring both the situation and the meteorologists. We're watching you. Telecom operators are positioning 5G as a revolutionary technology, but this is not entirely true. 5G is not a revolution, but rather an evolution of existing technologies. For several years, operators have invested heavily into increasing 4G coverage, introducing frequency aggregation, and switching to LTE Advanced. This has allowed to seriously increase mobile internet speed in the existing network today. 5G will depend on 4G for a very long time, as LTE gradually built up over the 3G network. Just look at your smartphone. No one has ever given up on 3G. And GSM networks, which have been operating for decades, are being deactivated so slowly. So there's nothing to worry about. Your old Nokia 3310 is still useful and not just for cracking nuts. Call Mom. Do we even have to say it? Let's dot the I's and cross the T's here. 5G towers do not distribute COVID-19. They do not. The conspiracy theory that it was 5G that caused the coronavirus originates from a Facebook post back in January. In it, intellectuals argue that Wuhan, China has become the epicenter of the outbreak due to the recently launched 5G network there. And from there, the virus spread to other cities, which also use 5G. So-called experts believe that the virus is supposedly used to hide the damage that 5G does to people's health. They also believe that the virus spreads faster thanks to the 5G connection, which supposedly reduces immunity, or listen to this, it spreads through radio waves. It's a pity that school education doesn't spread through them either. It would seem that similar conspiracy theories appear every day, but we don't take to the streets to overthrow the reptilian government, do we? Great Britain proves the opposite. Residents of Birmingham, Liverpool, and apparently the highly technologically advanced village of Melling in Merseyside County were scared of infection and burned and looted 20 mobile towers distributing 5G. The rapper YG also promoted a dangerous and stupid theory. In an Instagram story, the Compton musician and world-famous scientist suggested that the coronavirus pandemic was caused by 5G networks. They telling us stay in the house because they don't want us to see all them new 5G towers they putting up. Stay woke. The biologist and doctor of science from southern Los Angeles tells us, as we said above, there is no evidence that 5G is harmful to humans. The radio waves over which 5G is transmitted are only a small part of the entire electromagnetic spectrum, which includes microwaves, visible light, and X-rays. These radio waves are non-ionizing, which means that they do not damage the DNA inside the cells, unlike X-rays, gamma rays, and ultraviolet rays. There is no evidence that 5G can damage the immune system. The new coronavirus spreading from Wuhan is just one type in the virus family. Coronavirus is a broad category of viruses that includes the common cold, SARS, acute respiratory syndrome, outbreaks of which occurred in 2002 and 2004, and this new coronavirus originated in Wuhan. And just a reminder, it is impossible to transmit it through radio waves. Hey, what is this? Looks like we came across a dusty box with a few more conspiracy theories related to 5G. Let's see what's inside. A couple of years ago, a piece of information appeared that the satanic 5G destroys animals' internal coordinating system, leading to terrifying consequences. Just imagine what happened if birds suddenly became disoriented. Whole ecosystems could break and ecology would descend into chaos. Proponents of this theory also claimed that 5G frequencies upset plant metabolism and overheat insect bodies. These statements go as far as saying 5G could also affect cows and even humans, causing infertility and autism. However, in the scientific community, these horror stories were quickly refuted. For example, ICNIRP conducted a study back in 1998 stating that there is no evidence to 5G frequencies causing negative effects beyond established standards. In addition, recent laboratory studies claim that the genotoxicity and carcinogenicity of animals remain at the same levels, and it does not seem that the use of high-frequency fields has any effect. In response, opponents of 5G said that in Holland, ducks in ponds next to 5G towers are constantly burying their heads underwater, obviously trying to hide from the deadly rays. A much more interesting theory about 5G states that communication towers are part of the Agenda 2030 program, and along with RFID technology, should help establish total tracking of the population. We don't even know how to comment on that. Maybe you know. Write in the comments. What do you think? Does 5G negatively affect living organisms, and will it be used by Big Brother? Oh, these new technologies. Oh, this new anything. Just like hundreds of years ago, people perceive changes with hostility in their usual way of life, even if these changes promise development and improvement in the quality of that very life. Remember the strikes of carriage drivers who refused to switch to creepy automobiles that just appeared? Or how people stigmatized television, saying that it dilutes the brain and turns people into vegetables? Although they were somewhat right about that one. The same thing is happening with 5G. Frightened by the virus, people lash out at any perceived enemy just to cope with their panic and fear. And whether that enemy is 5G towers or gigantic windmills depends only on the historical period. Only the 5G security issue remains unanswered. The network promises to be more secure than its predecessors, but holes will still appear for some time due to close connection with old networks. It is also not clear whether the United States will be able to build networks without using telecommunication equipment from China, including Huawei and ZTE, which work closely with the government of the Eastern Giant. Many rightly fear that equipment manufactured by these companies may allow Beijing to steal personal or corporate confidential data. We at Brainframe believe that our subscribers do not follow the yellow press, filter information, and always remain at the forefront of scientific awareness. And we, in turn, make a small contribution to your picture of the world. Stay home, stay healthy, don't burn towers, and call mom again. Brainframe out.